up, y'all? This is
Whiskey
Couyons coming at y'all with another review. Tonight we're going to do Pursuit United. This is the podcast guys, Bourbon Pursuit. This is their bourbon. This is the blended straight bourbon whiskey. Comes in at 108 proof.
Good proof.
Yeah, I like that it's blended and it's not at 100 or lower. You know what I mean? I like that. This is really good stuff, but we're gonna get to that in just a minute.
I haven't looked at this.
If you haven't watched Bourbon Pursuit podcast or listened to Bourbon Pursuit podcast yet, there's it'll take you a while to catch up, but it's definitely worth the listen. They got excellent information. And they got one of the most respected people in bourbon, Mr. Fred Minnick.
I like the bottle. Looks pre-prohibition style, old looking.
Yeah, they just have one of those little moonshine loops on the side. It'd be
I haven't looked at this. I don't really know nothing of it.
Well, I'm the only one of us that has tried this yet, and it is,
I've never tried it.
Oh yeah, we're trying it blind.
This comes from the John collection.
Straight from the John collection. 108 proof.
I don't know that I've ever even read the back of the bottle, to be honest
Cecil
with you.
plus Coleman Pursuit United blended straight bourbon whiskey 108. Adventure and bold flavors.
Alright. Let's go with nose on this.
The Pursuit United story. The Pursuit is an adventure in seeking bold flavors. As whiskey enthusiasts, we hunt for hidden gems waiting to be discovered. These selected barrels of rye and wheated bourbons were united to create an uncommon whiskey that has both spicy and fruity characteristics.
I get that, dude.
A blend of mashbills delivered a standout whiskey experience. Enjoy the pursuit. Government warning. According to the Surgeon General.
So what about that government warning, man?
Women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy.
I've never seen that on a bottle.
But if you're a man and you're pregnant, it is okay.
Newsflash from this week. Apparently, if you drink heavy amounts of alcohol, you can fuck up your pancreas. Didn't know. I know now.
You didn't know that?
Here's the deal.
I'll talk to you about that after.
I was like, well, if anybody's gonna get it, it'd be me. Yeah, look.
I'll talk to you about that after.
Yeah.
Dude, off the nose, honestly, I get the fruits right off the bat. It's hard to pinpoint a fruit, but
I get citrus.
I get citrus. Yep. I was about to say orange.
Yeah, citrus and light fruits besides the citrus.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but I don't want to say light fruits, but like a pear maybe.
This is bourbon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I was gonna say I don't get a lot of vanillas or
Straight
caramels right off the
I
bat.
don't get caramel.
So it's
vanilla.
2 years old at least because it's straight.
I do get some spice in there, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly what spice it is on my nose.
I was gonna say spice, but I feel like it's rye. Just like regular rye.
And it's not bad.
Not pickly at all.
Not super strong rye, but my rye note is typically sometimes fresh cut grass and
Or dillweed.
yeah.
You get dillweed sometimes.
That's what I said. I don't get the dill at all, but I get the rye spice.
But I can get a little bit of dillweed actually in it. But it's very, very, very subtle.
I almost wonder if some of this is maybe I get some kind of sweetness that might be
I think it's
like
different,
a port,
man.
maybe. Y'all get that? Like a port almost.
Did you get a lot of fruits in it?
Yeah.
I can see how you say it's dill. It's dill-esque, but it's something else.
I would say
Not
dillweed.
Dillweed, like
The actual
seasoning.
The seasoning.
Yeah, the spice.
I like the dill, not dill pickle.
I still get some of those fresh cut grass notes too. Besides that, but it's mostly like now that you narrowed it down, maybe like dill weed.
Right. It's got a spice to it, but it's really hard to pinpoint the spice. I couldn't say cinnamon. I don't think it's really a cinnamon.
Smells like after you got done weeding, not grass, but
Definitely a spice though. Get that oak.
you just out there, you just tore a bunch of shit up with that weed eater.
I love the smell on this, man.
Very fruity
It's
though.
it's complex.
Yeah.
It's different.
I like the fruits in it. I can get the pear.
I get a little orange.
I get the orange too. That's the first thing I got with that citrus.
Mm-hmm.
Orange citrus.
I kind of like a tangerine, not quite the oranginess, but the oranginess.
All right, I'm going in.
Let me see if you make it. Then I'm gonna try.
Orange citrus right off the bat.
Yep.
Oak
Rye.
opens up right after.
A lot of oak.
I get rye and fruit.
It finishes with rye.
Rye, yeah, definitely. I was about to say rye in the finish for sure. That's
lot
what
of
that
oak.
spice is in the end.
A lot of oak, man. I would call this almost a double oak in a lot of cases.
We got
That
oak
oak is-
mid palate, but right when
Yeah.
the first thing I tasted was citrus.
Yep.
Citrus fruit.
I still get like
man. It's like they
Even
aged
on the
this in
finish.
orange tree.
on the finish. I really get like not a citrus, but a different kind of fruit. You know what I'm saying? It's just a real sweet. Again, like I almost feel like there's some kind of port in here or something. Some kind of port finish, like
Is
that.
it
Just
that?
that sweet. I
You
don't
get
know.
like a Moscato sweet winey note.
Yeah, just like a real fruity sweet note.
Yeah. Like I like that the Moscato, that overly sweet wine.
Mhm.
You get that note in it,
I
almost
mean,
like
it's
a
not overly sweet. It's just you
with
get
the
a little.
Scottish we call a sultana, would be like a white grape. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
Green grapes.
Okay.
Sultanas is like raisins, but it's made with green grapes. So instead of having like an actual raisin that's made with red grapes.
Maybe that is kind of good at the end. Like some sweet raisins there.
Yeah. Sweet green raisins.
Yeah.
Is sultanas, but you could almost get that on there. You know, even if you never had sultanas, you know what green grapes taste like, and what a raisin would taste like if it was made from that.
It's a weird note to get, but yeah.
This stuff is really, really, really good, man.
Just interesting. Like it's completely different than.
Even like a little hint of brown sugar. Get a little brown sugar in it.
If I was drinking this blind, I would not think this is a bourbon at all.
No.
Oh, I would think it's a bourbon.
Really?
I don't get any
From
of the
the
normal bourbon notes out of this.
Because it's like I don't know. I drink a lot of scotch, so I could I don't know. A lot of the stuff I drink, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's definitely a bourbon.
Maybe because it's blended or whatever, but I
If it wouldn't be a bourbon, it would definitely be an American. Whiskey.
I get that. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. It is. I would think it's an American whiskey, not a bourbon.
Like you're not getting the corn from
Yeah,
it.
I'm not getting corn. I'm not getting
It doesn't
vanilla
have a
or
whole lot of
caramel
corn,
or
I'll
just
give you that.
your normal bourbon
So
notes.
you know how on a bourbon you get that dusty corn note on a lot of typical Kentucky bourbons? You don't get that from that. You don't get like the typical dusty corn like you would get from a classic Jim Beam.
Drinking this blind, I would actually think it's a rye.
Trace.
I would too.
I don't even know if I would classify it as an American whiskey with a higher rye content.
Well, it's got
What you got the mash bill for? You got it all listed on there?
it's a blend of mash bills
Okay.
to deliver a standout whiskey experience. But it does mention barrels of rye and wheated bourbons were united.
Definitely get wheat.
And I believe they got I'm sure there's some sort of contract, but they age in Bardstown.
Okay.
Okay.
Bardstown's a cool little place. I enjoyed going to visit Bardstown.
I didn't say wheat earlier, but it definitely, has that wheaty vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. Again, that's why I mentioned that earlier when we were doing something, talking about something. But I feel like the wheat in a bourbon or something like that. The wheat is almost kind of like it's the smoothness.
I agree too.
The wheat kind of brings everything else together.
I know a lot of whiskey guys hate the word smooth, but I think they hate that because a lot of people that aren't into whiskey and if they can't come up with a flavor and it's easy to drink, they call it smooth.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a consistency than it is a flavor. Because smooth is not really a flavor, but with wheat, it's hard to pinpoint a flavor, but it brings roundness to a whiskey.
Roundness, maybe that's
You know,
I always
Yeah,
found
roundness
wheated
and
bourbons or anything that has a high wheat content. It's easy to drink.
It's the complete opposite of rye. Rye is bringing spice,
Roughness,
and boldness, and roughness. It's bringing spice and sharpness. That's what we're like.
This
sharpness.
is a blend of both in a kind of
Right.
sense because you're getting
Whereas-
the rye
yeah.
with the wheat. So it wants to be bold and bright, but then the wheat's subduing
It's also
it.
rounding it out a little bit. Yeah.
Dude, the orange in here is really out there. Like
Yeah.
It was like if they took orange tree and made staves out of it and made a barrel out of that.
See, I thought of like the rye brings out the orange too because of the spice of like orange rind. You know what I mean? You
Like
get that
the-
orange rind.
Like the white,
Yeah.
the white flaky part between the
Right.
orange peel.
Yeah.
I just took a quick sip, real quick, and I got hints of sherry.
That could be. I mean,
That's-
I really don't
that's
know.
your
They don't
fruit
give
right
much
there.
about it.
I
They
mean,
don't give much
is it-
about it.
The fruitiness in it, like I said, sherry always comes off as raisins to me because it just has that flavor. Because honestly, I mean, it's a wine. It's probably aged with raisins, so you have that dried fruit flavor with sherry. So I mean, I can get that definitely from it.
I think
Well, it says they hunt
cherry,
for hidden
cherry,
gems
you
that
know?
are waiting to be discovered. It kind of leads you to believe that they go into the rick houses and they find the forgotten barrels. You know,
Yeah.
that should have been like the warehouses had that should have been put in this one or that one, and it just never got put in, and so now they're like, oh dang.
The cool thing is it's a blend of straight whiskey. So normally, like I'm not big on blended whiskey that much. I find it takes off of the complexity, but this one itself, whoever's doing the blending did a good job because I usually like a straight whiskey. You get more from, I think you say more from a straight whiskey. You get more complexity. Usually a blended whiskey is just like it always comes across as just like a Frankenstein whiskey, right?
Yeah.
But this one came out pretty good the way they did it. Whoever was blending it knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? Rather than some like me, if I grab, oh, these are my favorite whiskeys. Let me throw them in a bottle and see
Well,
what it tastes like. This
I
came
was
out
kind
good.
of talking to y'all earlier, and not to take away from the other guys or anything like that, but I was kind of talking to y'all about this a little earlier, and I said, I was skeptical to buy it when I seen it, and obviously I love Bourbon Pursuit, and I was sort of skeptical to buy it when I seen it, saying blended whiskey or whatever. I was like, eh. But then you think about it, and it's kind of like, well, I mean, they got Fred Minnick, which is, nationally known as one of the most respected, people in bourbon today.
it's like the Ponce de Leon, but the national
But
version.
nationally,
Yeah.
So
So I'd say he's been tasting bourbon for a while.
yeah, so in all the guys at Bourbon Pursuit, I mean, I love their content, respect their opinions, and I was like, man, I really got to try this, and I'm definitely not disappointed at all.
That's good. How much was the bottle?
Right around 50.
That's not bad.
I'm
Not bad
not
at all.
disappointed in it. I just want to be. I don't know how I would categorize it. Like, where do I put it? Who do I recommend it
it's a
to?
bourbon.
Yeah, but
But I'm gonna tell you, like,
would you give that to your? Would you give it to somebody that you know that doesn't really drink bourbon, or doesn't drink a lot of whiskey but likes bourbon, and give it to them and say, "Hey, this is a bourbon."
yeah, I would just tell him it's a different kind of bourbon.
Yeah, because it to me it just doesn't fit in that bourbon category.
Because usually when you think of bourbon, you're thinking of like a typical bourbon like notes. Like you don't get a whole lot of fruits from bourbon. I guess you get caramel, vanilla, cherry,
Corn sweet.
corn sweetness. Yeah, dusky corn. You don't get that from here. It's a little bit more complexity. It's lighter on the as far as the tone to it. Most bourbons come out dark, bitey, and
I'd have to maybe
you
tell
know,
them, "Hey, look, it's a weeded bourbon" or something like that.
It
Even though they're
definitely
not
comes off
saying
as a
that
weeded
on
bourbon,
there,
but-
you can definitely tell there's a lot of wheat in here.
Yeah, I like it though. It's good.
I like it too.
I
I
like it
just-
a lot. I like the fact that it's complex and I don't want to say simple. And again, now you got me self-conscious of using the word smooth. You know what I'm saying? But I like the fact that it's
It is smooth though. For
It's
for what
smooth,
it
but
is.
it's
For
got
like
a
the fact-
108, it's definitely.
It's got a
what
little
was
bite
the
in
word we
front
were
of it,
talking
but
about
it's good.
earlier though? That
Yeah.
kind of went
I find it might come to the end.
but it was
Like
it's complex
Yeah, you're right. At the
and
end.
it's got that
it's good though.
it's just got a rounded. That's the word we were using earlier. It's just well rounded, man.
So,
I
alright,
almost kind
so
of like it better on a quick sip because it's more of that sherry taste up front on the quick
you
sip.
do get the sherry up front.
If
Yeah.
you chew it a little bit, then you get more of the orange. You let it sit there. But if it's quick,
So it's a complexity for a bourbon. I would give it like on a whiskey Couyons. If y'all ready to reflect on this?
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
I definitely I'd buy it again if I were you.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if you come across it, I'd give it a 3 for sure. It almost pushed 3.25. For the proofing, it's really good. I would give it a 3. It's complex for the whiskey. Like I said, citrus right up front. Then it goes into like the oakiness and the rye finishes at the end. It gets you get the wheatedness of the smoothness and the roundedness of a wheat, but you also get the spice of a rye when it comes to the end. It has a decent oak to it. I know it seems a little young for 2 years, but still, though, it doesn't come off as young. Tasting the flavor on
is
it.
it? I don't know.
Well, it's straight, so it's at least 2 years.
So I can't say 2
There's
years.
there's no exact age
Right.
statement. But
So,
it says
It's a
straight
blend.
bourbon.
It's a blend of straight whiskey. So some of the stuff that could go in there could be older than 2 years. But
Yeah.
It could be 2 years. But so there's no really age statement on it, but it's good for what it is. It doesn't come off as too young at all. But I like it. Yeah, I definitely give it a 3. And if I came across it in the store, I'd pick it up for $50. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's a good.
I would say a solid 3, plus or minus another 2.5. You know, you can go either way. I'm gonna give it a 3 right now, though. I like it.
I like the fact that for me, I'd be kind of starstruck. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's Pursuit United, Bourbon Pursuit. You know, like I'm a big fan again. So for me, that kind of holds a little punch with it. Again, the flavor, I got no complaints. It's great. It's citrus. There's still some caramel in there, but I think the citrus kind of almost overpowers it. I get a little bit of oak, not very heavy, but I get a little bit of oak.
Just a touch
Definite-
of palate.
Yeah,
It's good, though.
definite rye spice, and there's a sweetness that I don't attribute to corn. They say fruity, but I almost get like a port fin. Like it's that kind of sweet to me. You know what I mean?
See, I didn't get that
Yeah.
dark. Like with port, I think of like dark fruit, but
I'm
I
thinking
think
like
it's pretty-
Angel's Envy rye. That finish
Oh,
of
yeah.
Angel's Envy rye. How it's just like super sweet.
Oh, that
This
rum,
isn't
that
super
rum is
sweet.
super
Yeah.
sweet, but yeah,
Yeah.
I get more of like a lighter fruit. Like you said, you hit it on the nail with apples, pears,
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah, just really sweet.
I can get apples and pears.
Kind of right after the mid palate, it
Stone
gets
fruit.
sweet before it goes into
Oh, stone
into
fruit,
rum.
nectarine, peach,
Yeah,
something like that.
Super good. Again, I find it's a little somewhat complex for a blended bourbon. I don't normally get that out of blended too much. I find them they just kind of hit and then.
That's what I said. Whoever blended it did a good job.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
And I find blended bourbons usually lack on finish, and this has a pretty decent finish to it.
Yeah.
So I give it a 3.25. Long story short,
There you go.
I will definitely buy it again if I see it. I'm not gonna be upset at all.
All right.
I'm
Sure.
going 3. I like it. I'd buy a bottle of it. I drink it. Again, I just put it in a category. Like I don't really look at this and think bourbon. I do think American whiskey. Looking at the back, I see that it is distilled in Kentucky, Tennessee, and New York. So I'm assuming they're using 3 different blends.
What's that New York distillery? Hudson Baby?
Hudson Bay.
They got a Hudson Bay. I think they got a few other
Maybe
ones.
Hudson or something like that.
I don't know.
They
I
got-
know Hudson Bay is the whiskey. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have a bourbon. I'm pretty sure they have a rye. They have a few
Hudson.
different things. And see, here's
It's
the
gonna
thing.
eat me up if I don't look it up.
I don't get a lot of bourbon notes out of this, so I'm thinking
That's
what
a
they're
typical
blending this
bourbon
out of is probably 2 high rye bourbons and then 1 high wheated bourbon. Because there is some wheat to it, but I find there's more rye or so on like that.
Definitely. I get
So,
more rye.
I think- Obviously, they're calling it a bourbon, so it still has to be more than 51% corn in generally. But I think they're using 2 high rise bourbons and then maybe a weeded bourbon and blending that together, doing 3 different blends.
Hudson whiskey, yeah.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like I said, I like it. I find it. I don't want to call it a bourbon. I want to call it an American whiskey. And
Hudson Baby Bourbon. I was right.
Hudson Baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sounds like Hudson Bay. So.
it does.
Yeah.
I mean, baby and whiskey. It wouldn't be 2 things.
So what you got?
together.
Hey, did I miss it? Did you give it a?
I
You said a 3, right?
3.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Three's
it's
right there where, hey, look, I want it.
all the way around,
I
man.
buy it. I drink it again.
That's big. I like that.
My only thing I would knock it on is that I just really don't know how to define it. How I would say, hey, look, somebody comes to my house that I don't really know. I don't really know what their preferences are. Hey, try this. It's
You know what I would say?
I think that would go for people who actually really enjoy whiskey, and you're like, hey, I want you to try something that's bourbon, but it may not taste like a bourbon you're used to.
Yeah.
and
That's what I was gonna say.
It's just kind of hard to explain in a kind of sense. Like, hey, look, try this. You know,
There's a
what
bourbon
is
with
it?
a little different characteristics that
It's
you
a
know.
bourbon that has raw weeded notes. You know.
My thoughts on it was if there was somebody that I had that was kind of new to bourbon, right, and you were offering craft, a lot of craft stuff, and a lot of times when you get that craft bourbon, it's relatively young for the obvious reasons that craft distilleries put out bourbon. You gotta make money, so you find that craft bourbon, and a lot of times you get like a sharp. I mean, it's it's corn, right? And this I find is a bourbon that doesn't hit corn heavy right up front.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's got a different smoothness. It
I'm gonna tell you-
lacks the burn that a strong
Yeah.
craft corn whiskey bourbon
This
would
is
have.
my dilemma with it. You think bourbon, all right? Say quintessential bourbons, Elijah Craig, Buffalo Trace, stuff like that. Say I take somebody who's never drank bourbon in their life, and I slap down on the table, and I say, "This is Buffalo Trace or whatever. This is bourbon. This is Elijah Craig. This is bourbon," and they drink that. It's like, all
They'd
right,
be disappointed when
And
they
then
got
I
Buffalo
slap-
Trace.
this down next to it, and I tell them, "This is bourbon," and then they drink it. Like, we'll taste nothing alike. We don't taste at all similar. They're both bourbon, but
Well, that's the cool thing about all of this, though. You get,
Yeah, I like bourbon.
it's a bourbon, but it's a rye weeded bourbon, and they don't give the percentages.
It
of
just
anything,
brings
but
an
man,
aspect of variety to bourbon.
Yeah,
Scotch.
I love
Scotch already has variety.
I just
Bourbon, it's hit or miss, but this, it brings a little aspect of variety to bourbon. That's all.
the way I feel with this, and my biggest argument with it is I know a lot of companies they want to put that bourbon name on everything because bourbon sells. But honestly, from my point of view, I think this would do better as just American whiskey. But if it is bourbon, you can call it bourbon. But I call it American
Everything
bourbon
they
whiskey,
blended
so
was
I don't
probably
know, it's just-
51 plus proof.
Yeah, right on
51 corn. Yeah.
Right on 51.
And by all means, that's right.
I like it as a lighter root.
I just
I'm
don't.
not big on just super
I don't
heavy
get bourbon
stuff.
notes out of it.
It just it is what it is.
Maybe I'm a purist or whatever. I like my bourbon notes to have, or my bourbons to have bourbon notes. And I can't really pick that corn note of caramel or vanilla. There's
There's a
the
little
three.
bit of caramel in there. It's just not.
That's
It's
the
not
three
up
that's
front,
really
right?
quintessential that every bourbon should have, and I just don't get that out of it at all. But I do really like it. I think it's great.
Absolutely.
That's about it, man.
They got a 3.
Pursuit United, 3 all the way around. We all really enjoyed it, honestly.
Heck yeah.
Definitely, I've never had a bottle of it, but I'll pick it up if I see it for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink some more then.
Whiskey Couyons, baby.
Out. See y'all next time.
All right.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
And if we missed anything, just let us know. We'll make that account too.